Hey, Team Love Conquers Violence. Dr. Karen Ryan, licensed psychologist and board member of LCV, here to talk about the cycle of abuse in domestic violence, the basics. We thought it would be helpful to talk about the cycle of abuse because oftentimes people can find themselves confused in an abusive relationship because it's not always abusive or it's not always bad to them. Or you think there's periods when we get along so well and it's so great. And so by understanding the cycle of abuse, you might recognize it when it's happening and know that abuse is never okay. So the cycle of abuse is like a circle, and there's 4 stages in it, and they're all connected. So the first stage is the tension building stage. That's when communication starts to break down. The individual who is being abused starts to feel more worried, can feel more tense, so they start making sure that they never displease their partner or try not to upset them, do things to placate. Or the individual who's being abusive might start to be more agitated, and you just really feel that tension building. That then leads to the second stage, which is the incident stage. The incident stage involves physical, sexual, emotional, or verbal abuse, right? When the abuse occurs. It can also entail threats and intimidation. And that's important to know because once you have been abused, once you've been hit or hurt really badly, all it takes is a threat or intimidation to know what that person's capable of, and that is an incident. The third stage then is reconciliation, and this can look different in different relationships or take different forms or all the forms. So one way it looks is the individual is apologetic. They apologize profusely, say it'll never happen again, talk about how much they love you, they can't believe that they did that. The second way it can look is where the person justifies their behavior or makes excuses. It says, well, you shouldn't have, or you knew better, right? Really makes excuses and justification for their behavior. The third way it can look is where the person who was abusive minimizes it or denies it or is gaslighting and says, I would never do that, or really creates a different narrative of what happened. Then the fourth stage is the calm stage, where communication might be better. You might have better times together, right? You might think, oh boy, this is kind of normal. It can also look like a honeymoon phase where the individual who's abusive does a lot of romantic gestures or really tries to make it up to the individual that they abuse, right? And that can only last so long, that calm, until it moves back into the tension stage, right? And so it's tension, incident, reconciliation, calm. Tension, incident, reconciliation, calm. And this cycle can vary in how fast it moves, how long each stage lasts. Each stage might last a day, might last weeks or months, right? The incident might be a 30-minute abusive interaction, or it might be weeks, right? The calm might last a year, or it might last a week. But what we do know is that as the abusive relationship continues, the severity and the frequency in the cycle and in the incidents increases. So that is the cycle of abuse. It's helpful to know. If you are in an abusive relationship, there is help, there is hope. If you are being abused, you are not alone, and it is not your fault. We hear you, we believe you, we support you. If you are being abusive, only you can make the decision to change. Thanks, and love always will conquer violence.